8:2. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्युवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च humble prostrations to one and all. So in the last class we had seen Nachiketa asked 3 boons. The first boon is directed towards his father for the welfare and well-being of his father. The second boon is all about asking for Agni Vidya, the knowledge of how one can reach Swarga, the heaven. This we can say he has asked for the welfare and well-being of the society. So first one for his father, second one for the welfare of the society, and the third one he is asking for himself. So what is the boon he asks? Eam prete vichikitsa manushye asti eke nayam asti cheke. In this world there is this doubt. Prete manushye, regarding the ones who are dead. Some say asti, some say nasti, some say they exist. Even after death, they exist. Some say this way. The others say, no, no, once death happens, everything is over. So now, O Lord, I would like you to answer, you to clarify this doubt. What happens to this person who is dead, whether he exists or not? And you are the right person because you are Yamaraj, you are Lord of Death. So at that time, Yamaraj says, oh Nachiketa, this question which you have asked, this doubt is not only there in Manushya it is there in Devaloka also. Even the Devatas are confused regarding this matter. And moreover, this is a very subtle topic. There is no guarantee that you will understand, even if I explain to it. So why are you wasting your boon? Ask something else, something tangible, gross, something you can clearly make sure that you will get it. So better ask something else. At that time, Nachiketa says, oh, is it so? Is this knowledge very subtle? Is this something which even Devatas are confused about? In that case, though, definitely I want this alone. Because you are the right person to tell this. I will not get this chance again. A Devata in front of me. And that too of the same department. Who knows this? So therefore, such a wonderful teacher I will not get. So I want this alone. So very same logic which Yamaraji uses, that same logic is used by Nachiketa to tell that I want that. So then Yamaraji says again, Nachiketa, you don't know what all things you can ask, what all things I can bless you with. There are so many things I can give you. Shatayushi, Putra Putra, Nuranishwa. Ask for children, grandchildren, gold, cows, horses, elephants, large lands. I will make you the king, and you can live there forever and ever for so many years. All these things I can bless you. And moreover, if you want, I can, bless you with this heavenly pleasures also. All these apsaras will serve you, entertain you. Hmm. But Nachiketa, don't ask this one thing. But it is said here by Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, Nachiketa remained like an ocean, unaffected by all these temptations. In fact, what is the answer which Nachiketa, how does Nachiketa reply to all these temptations? So there's a very famous verse, Shobhavamartyasya yadantakaitata sarvendriyana jarayanti tejah api sarvam jeevitamalpameva tavaiva vahastava nritya gite. Oh Lord, whatever you have offered, they are all full of defects. What is a defect? Swabhavaha, Swabhavaha. Today it is there, tomorrow it is not there. So whatever you have offered, they are all impermanent. What I am looking for is something which is permanent. I'm fed up of these impermanent things and beings and situations, going and coming. Do punya karma, go to Swargaloka, come back. Again do punya karma, go to Swargaloka, come back. And with some papa karma you have done, go to some Naraka, again come back. I'm fed up. I want something which is permanent. So therefore, all these things what you have offered, Shobhava, they are all impermanent. Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha, all these pleasures which you are talking of. The problem with this worldly pleasure is every time you indulge, you are drained away of your vitality, so of your physical strength, mental strength. Everything is gone. These pleasures come with a, what you call, with a defect that it drains us. There is gain, but suddenly there is pain also. The pain of pleasure, the gain of pleasure, immediately after that comes the pain of disease. So therefore, these pleasures are all defective. Moreover, you are talking of long life, etc. Api sarvam jeevitam alpameva. All this long life is nothing but short alone. How much ever a person lives, he never says, enough, enough of living. Now I want to die. Nobody says that. How much ever long we live, nobody is satisfied with living. Nobody is content with living. Even Brahmaji, after crores and crores of years, he has to die. So therefore, this long life which you're offering is also defective. Therefore, Tavaiva Tava Nritya Gita, your Nritya and Gita, your dance and music, may it be with you. I'm not interested. So now Yamaraji fails to tempt Nachiketa. Nachiketa remains firm. And then this valli ends here. So this is the way in which the first valli ends. So now we are entering into the second valli. First chapter, second valli. So first chapter we have three vallis. Second chapter we have three vallis. So the first valli of the first chapter is over here. So now we enter into the second valli of the first chapter. 1, 2. Okay. So now the whole valli is about Yamaraj praising Nachiketa. Nachiketa, such a wonderful person you are. Hmm. All these greatest temptations I have offered in front of you, but you did not budge. It's a wonder to see such a seeker of self-knowledge. So why Nachiketa is great? So all these things we will see in this world, where Yamaraj is full of praise for Nachiketa. So that is the content of this second volume. So let us see the first verse, page number 65. Anyachreyo anyadutaiva preyah te ubhe nanarthe purusham sinitah तयो श्रेय आददानस्य साधु भवति हीयते अर्थाद्य upreyo vrinite. Yes. So now Yamaraj is speaking now. So what is Yamaraj saying? Nachiketa, Shreyah anyat eva. This path of Shreyas, the path of good, is something different. Preyah anyat eva uta. And this path of prayers is something different. So Nachiketa, there are two paths. One is the path of Shreyas, the path of good. The other is the path of prayers, the path of pleasant. So path of good and path of pleasant. These two paths are totally different. Anyat. Te ubhe, both of them, Purusham Nana Arthe Sinitaha. Both these paths, Sinitaha, they bind a person. Sinitaha, they bind a person. Nana Arthe, to various things. So both these paths are of the nature of bondage. They bind. But though they bind, there is a difference in bondage. There is a difference in the nature of bondage. What is the difference? Tayoho Shreyah Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati. For the person who takes the path of Shreyas, the path of the good, Sadhu Bhavati, everything will be Sadhu, auspicious. Everything good happens to him. His welfare and well-being is taken care. He is on the right track. Hmm. Nothing bad happens to him. His well-being is taken care. Tayoho Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati. What about the person who takes the path of prayers? Yaha upreyah vrinite arthat hiyate. The person who takes the path of prayers, hiyate, he falls, he deviates from arthat, from the goal. He falls from his chosen. He never makes any progress in life. So this is the first verse. So here a new topic is taken. The topic of Shreyas and Prayas. The path of Shreyas and Prayas. This is a very famous topic you find in Kathopanishad. The path of the good, the path of the pleasant. So here we need to discuss this because this is a very practical topic. So every one of us, we are faced with this, whether to choose the path of the Shreyas or to choose the path of Prayas. So one path is shown by our faculty called mind. The other path is shown by our faculty called intellect. So our intellect is that faculty which makes choices based on what is right and what is wrong. So this path which is shown by the intellect is called path of Shreyas. This is right, do it. This is wrong, don't do it. So there is a faculty in us. That faculty is called intellect. It takes decisions based on right and wrong. It always shows us the path of Shreyas. What is the other faculty? So we'll call it mind. What does it do? It takes decisions based on what we like and what we don't like. I like this, let us do it. I don't like this, let us not. So this is the path of prayers, path shown by the mind. So in every situation, mind will take a decision. It will show us the path of prayers. And intellect will take decision. It will show us the path of shreyas. Right? Now, whom should we listen to? The mind or the intellect? So we say we should listen to the intellect. That is what this verse is saying. Yo shreya sadhu bhavati. A person who always listens to the intellect, a person always who takes decision based on what is right and wrong, not based on likes and dislikes, but based on rights and wrongs. A person who takes such decisions in life, everything will be auspicious for him. He evolves materially and spiritually. So now, here, what are the four possible options, mind and intellect? The four possible combinations. So the first combination, mind likes something and the intellect says, yes, this is right. Any problem? No problem. Mind loves it and intellect says, this is right. For example, I love exercise and intellect says, yes, it is very good. It is good for health. There is no. The second combination, mind says, this I don't like. Intellect says, don't worry. Anyway, it is not right also. You don't have to. Something which I don't like, something which is not. Any problem? Again, no problem. Smoking. Intellect says this is not good. And the mind says, anyway, I don't like smoking. No problem. So when do we have problems now? Now the other two combinations, they are the problematic combinations. So what are the two combinations? Intellect says this is right, you must do it. And the mind says, but I don't like it. There is something which is right, which I don't like. The fourth combination, there is something which is wrong, but I love it. I'm addicted to it. So these third and fourth is a big problem. There is something which is right and I don't like it. There is something which is wrong and I love doing it. That is where this verse is very, very useful. So what we have to do, we have to win over our likes and dislikes, and we should take decisions based on right and wrong. In these two combinations, you will find there is an internal struggle. There's a struggle. I love doing something, but intellect says don't do it. I don't like doing something, but the intellect says no, must do it. It's your duty. So there is a tussle, there's a friction, struggle inside. Now, there are two ways in which you can handle this struggle. What are the two ways? Either listen to the mind, yield to the temptation, don't go through the struggle, ignore the intellect. Yes, yielding is one way. Take the path shown by the mind. What is the other way, other option we have? Don't listen to the mind, listen only to the intellect. How much ever suffering it may be, how much ever I may not dislike, but I just do it because intellect says right. So whose choice it is? It is our choice. The honor of the mind and the intellect has to decide whom to listen, whether to listen to the mind or to listen to the intellect. Our entire destiny is decided by this choice that we make. We have a choice whether to choose the path of stress or to choose the path of praise. Don't say it is God who is choosing us for us. No, 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 no. We are only choosing it. So our destiny is based on this choice. Now let us see what happens to these people. So the first case, this person listens to the mind. He takes the path of praise. He never values the wise advice given by the intellect. He is not bothered about the path of praise. What happens to this person? He yields to all temptations. So what happens? Now the law is, whomever you listen to, that faculty in you will become strong. This is a law. So if you listen to the mind will start becoming stronger in you. If you listen to the intellect starts becoming strong. This is a law. Whomever you listen, that entity starts ruling your life. So now here is a person who is listening only to the mind. Whatever he likes, he does. Whatever he dislikes, he doesn't. He doesn't bother whether it is right or not. Then what happens to him? Slowly, he will start getting addicted to all the things which he likes. Addiction is the end result. Slowly, this person becomes a slave of his mind, and that mind becomes his monstrous master. So, what are the examples? All these examples, drunkards, chain smokers, drug addicts, they all belong to this category. What is the mistake they have done? They have listened to their mind. What is the mistake they have done? They have conveniently ignored the wise guidance of their intellect. This is a mistake. And now what is the condition of their intellect? The more and more you ignore the intellect, that ability of the intellect to guide us, the ability of the intellect to take decisions, the ability of the intellect to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong, this ability the intellect loses. The intellect becomes like a dim light. The dim light is not able to show us the path, the righteous path. Intellect becomes weak, intellect becomes dull, and the worst part, intellect, such a weak, dull intellect start justifying everything which the mind does. This is still worse. You know, I like something, therefore I start justifying that it is right. Just because I like something, how can it be right? This is the greatest tragedy. I don't like something, therefore I justify that it is wrong. What is the best example? See all these politicians. If the opposition party leaders does something good, my job is to oppose it. Whether it is good, right or wrong, I have to see only one thing. Is that person belonging to my party? Then he is right. Whatever he does, it is right. Is that person belonging to the other party? Then whatever he does, it is wrong. You see in all these politicians. This is what happens. So, a person who always listens to the mind is digging his own grave, we can say. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Your mind is your greatest friend if that mind is tamed. That very same mind is your worst enemy if it is untamed. So this is the condition of a person who follows the path of prayers. In the language of Kathopanishad, the path of the mind is called the path of prayers. What about the other path? Now here is a person who says, I will do whatever is right, irrespective of whether I like it or not. So now he's following the path of Shreyas. So remember that struggle is there. So he's going through that mental struggle. There's a tremendous amount of tug of war that happens when we have to walk the path of righteousness. There is friction. But the greatest benefit of this friction within, this struggle within is, it starts purifying the mind. It makes the mind very pure. It is this struggle, you can call it, it's a tapas. It's an austerity, that struggle. The struggle against our likes and dislikes. So just like the gold is purified by making it pass through hot furnace, in the same way, the mind becomes pure when we have to pass through this furnace. This is also a furnace. We are struggling with our likes and dislikes. There is a struggle. It's a painful struggle, a silent struggle, an internal struggle, a struggle which others are not aware of. It's a very subjective struggle. So in this struggle, what happens is, a person who is struggling to walk the path of righteousness, of goodness, what happens is slowly the mind becomes purer, purer, purer. And that mind slowly becomes fit to understand the higher realities of life. This is called as mental evolution. The purification of mind is called evolution. The intellect also becomes purified, and that intellect becomes brighter and brighter. The light of that intellect becomes brighter, and that intellect is able to clearly show us right from wrong. So exactly like a torch light. If it is a dim light, you can see only the nearby things. But if it's a bright light, you can see long distances, isn't it? That light. Intellect is also like that torch light. So first we should know what is right and wrong, then we have to walk. First we should see the path, and then we walk the path. This purified intellect enables us to walk the righteous path, the path which leads us to liberation, moksha. So that is what is mentioned here. Tayoho Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati. A person who walks the path of Shreyas, walks the path shown by the intellect, Sadhu Bhavati, everything auspicious happens. And what is the greatest auspiciousness? The greatest auspiciousness is liberation, putting an end to birth and birth-death cycle. This is the most auspicious thing that can ever happen to any Jivatma, any living being. Liberation from birth-death. So that's called as ultimate auspicious happening. So the person who walks the path of prayers, he becomes a slave of his mind, and that mind, filled with likes and dislikes, takes him directly to the path towards hell. Whereas the path of Shreyas takes the person towards freedom, ultimate freedom, liberation. Right. Now, sometimes people say, people say that, you should listen to your heart. You should listen to your heart. So what is this heart? Is it mind or intellect? So here we say heart means a combination of mind and intellect. That is called as heart. So it is something which you love to do, and also it is something which is right to do. So generally when it comes to choosing our profession, then we say you must follow your heart. So a profession is something which is beneficial for the society. You are doing something, society is benefited, so therefore it is right. And it is something which you love to do also. Maybe it is your hobby, something which you love to do. Then we say, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart doesn't mean listen to your mind. Let it be very clear. Many times heart and mind, they are, misunderstood. Just because you like it doesn't mean that you should do it. You should like it and it should be the right thing. Then you may do it. Okay. So this is about Shreyas and prayers. Now, the second verse is also about Shreyas and prayers. So let us chant the second verse, page number 68, verse number 2. Shreyascha प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमात् वृणीते हाँ, श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः. This Shreyas and prayers, Manusyam Etaha. Etaha means they approach. So both these paths approach a human being. They come to all of us. In every situation you will find there is a path of prayers, there is a path of Shreyas. Every moment we have to make this choice. So these two paths come to every one of us. What do the wise people do? Dhiraha, the wise man. See, generally in Hindi, when we say Dheer Purush, so suddenly we think of some courageous person. Dheer. In Sanskrit, actual word meaning Dheer is Dhiman, Buddhiman. So Dheeraha actually means wise person, intelligent person who uses his intellect. So this Dheeraha term is going to come again and again in Kathopanishad. So wherever Dheera comes, we have to understand this. It is not a courageous person. It is intelligent person, right? The one who has dhi, buddhi is called dhira. So dhiraha, this intelligent person, what does he do? Tau samparitya vivinati. He examines them, samparitya. So whenever these two paths come to him, he clearly examines them. He analyzes these paths. He contemplates upon it. What is the path of prayers? What is the path of Shreyas? And then Vivinakti, he clearly separates them. So you have to analyze it and then you have to separate and then choose. So analyze, separate and choose. This is what a wise person does. Dhiraha tau samparitya vivinati. He analyzes the situation, understands the situation, thinks about it, and then vivinakti, he separates. And then what does he do? Dhiraha preyasaha shreyaha hi abhivrinite. What does he do? Abhivrinite, he chooses. What does he choose? Shreyaha abhivrinite, he chooses the path of Shreyas. Preyasaha compared to the path of Preyas. He gives up the path of Preyas and chooses the path of Shreyas. Who? Dhiraha, the wise person. What about the other person? Mandaha. The opposite of Dhiraha is Mandaha. Manda means Mandabuddhi. Mandabuddhi means what? Not mentally retarded person. Mandabuddhi means who is not very intelligent. What does he do? Preyaha abhivrinite. Preyaha vrinite. He chooses the path of prayers. Why does he choose the path of prayers? He chooses the path of prayers because he doesn't see the path of Shreyas. He is unable to really appreciate the glory of the path of Shreyas. So here a term is used, Yoga Kshema. This Yoga Kshemam is a term which you will find in Bhagavad Gita also, isn't it? Ananyas chintayanto ma ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamya. LIC is yogakshemam vahamya, isn't it? LIC, what is logo, motto or whatever. So first we have to understand what this yogakshema is. So here it is said, this unintelligent people, for the sake of yogakshema, they choose the path of prayers. So here we have to understand. You see, what is the purpose of our intellect? The purpose of this intellect is analyze the situation, samparitya, separate the situation as the path of Shreyas and Prayas, Vivinakti, and then Abhivriniti, choose the path of Shreyas. This is what the intellect should do. Is a three-step process. Analyze the situation, categorize them as path of Shreyas and Prayas, and then choose Shreyas. This is what the intellect must do. Okay. But as the intellect becomes dull, manda, what happens is it is not able to clearly distinguish between path of Shreyas and Prayas. If you see the living beings, you will observe this. You see these animals, they have this hunger. Then what to do? The moment they are struck with hunger, they start searching for food. Correct? And once their stomach is full, even if the extra food is available, they leave it. They don't store it for the future. Why they don't store it for the future? They don't store it because their intellect is so dull that they are not able to think of the future. See, any intelligent person will have to think, isn't it? See, this hunger is coming again and again. Now I'm hungry, now I have got food. After some time again I'll become hungry. So it's always good that I better preserve it, store it, because next time when I'm hungry, I must have food. Now this is what the intellect does. But if you see these animals, etc., they don't store. Why? The intellect is so dull that it can't think that, you know, I need this food after some time. I am talking of the what you call least evolved being. Now let us come to the next step. So human beings, what do? We store it, isn't it? That's a that's a faculty of the intellect. Whatever problems we face, the intellect, it starts planning for the future. That's a function of the intellect. So what are the things we need in life? We need roti, kapada, makan. So the intellect plans for all this. Food is necessary. Shelter is necessary. Right? A regular source of income is necessary. Not only that, I need a family because there is an emotional need also. Not only there is a physical need, there is an emotional need. What is emotional need? I want to be loved. I want somebody to love. I want to be loved. This is emotional need. And what is intellectual need? I want to be respected in the society. I want to be valued. This is intellectual need. So we have physical need, emotional need, intellectual need. Just because my stomach is full doesn't make me truly happy. It's possible that I may feel a kind of hollowness within when my emotional and intellectual needs are not fulfilled. So these are the things which we take care. So I must have a home. I must have a family. This family takes care of the emotional need, right? And I must be respected in the society, name, fame, recognition, position, etc. So that gives a kind of, intellectual need is satisfied. A regular source of income that is necessary. So this is what the intellect does constantly. It takes care of this. Now this is what is called as yoga kshema. So worldly needs, we can say. So what is actually Yogakshem? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya defines Yogakshem as apraptasya praptihi yoga, praptasya rakshanam kshemah. So what is yoga? That which I don't have, that process of acquiring it is yoga. So there are so many things I don't have, so I strive to get it. That is yoga. Praptasya rakshanam kshemah. There are so many things which I have, which I need it, so I preserve it. So the process of preserving. So acquisition and preservation is a literal meaning of Yogakshem. Throughout our life, this is what we are doing, isn't it? What I need, I am striving to get. What I have, I am striving to preserve it. Otherwise, it will go away from me. I will lose it. Acquire and preserve. Acquire and maintain. This is yoga. So throughout our life, this is what we are doing. We are trying to fulfill all our worldly needs. Now, interestingly, in this verse, Yamaraj says this is the path of prayers. Now, this is very confusing. How can this be the path of prayers? So here we have to understand the context. As far as the worldly needs are concerned, all of us, we have worldly needs. Now, here what is criticized is a person is living a life in such a way that worldly needs have become his only priority in life. He is not able to think further. He's stuck like that animal. When it is hungry, it will eat. Once the hunger is gone, it forgets about food. It is not thinking about storing it because the hunger is going to come. That animal doesn't have that ability to think that it is needed in the future also. In the same way, dull intellects, they don't have the ability to think about the future after death. Their intellect is stuck only regarding this life. The immediate benefit, the immediate gain, the gain regarding this life. So what do the dull intellects do? Dull intellects try to settle in this impermanent world. Can you settle permanently in an impermanent world? Swamiji, my life is settled. I want my children also to get settled. What do you mean settling? Sometimes we use, oh, now his job is permanent. What are you talking of permanent job? 20 years, according to them, is a permanent job. So in this world, nothing is permanent. In this world, nobody can settle. This is the way a bright intellect will think. That intellect will ask, where have I come from? After a few more years, I will not be there. I'll be wiped out from this planet. Whatever I have earned, I have to leave it here. Whatever I have earned, legally, illegally, immorally, everything I have to leave it here. After death, what is going to happen? I don't know. Where am I going to go? I don't know. What is going to happen to me? I don't know. So then what is the purpose of life? Is this alone the purpose of life? Eat, drink, be merry, study in some college, school, get some job, get some promotion, get married, build a house, then children, grandchildren, that's all. Or is there some higher purpose in life? So what will a Mandabuddhi think? So Mandabuddhi, according to this context, Manda. A Manda is not able to raise these questions in his mind. These questions don't trouble him. His only question is how to make more and more money, more and more money. Because that Mandabuddhi, he thinks money is a solution to all problems of life. His dull intellect is not able to, actually we can't say there is an intellect there because it's so dull. So he's just worried about one thing, making money. There is a great, grand purpose for life. We all come here with a purpose. That purpose, this person who is walking the path of prayers is not able to see. You see, So Dhiraha and Mandaha, see the difference. Manda person, he's just all the time he's worried about, the little problems of this world. He's only bothered about this roti kapda maka. He's only bothered about making money. Such questions doesn't even come to his mind. Where have I come from? Where will I go? What is the purpose of this life? He is living a mechanical life. बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः. बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः. Childhood plays. He's busy with toys. Tarunastavat, when he becomes young, Taruni Saktaha, attraction towards opposite sex occupies his mind. Vruddhastavat, Chinta Saktaha, when he becomes old, all the worries, tension, fears, that occupies his mind. All unwanted thoughts. Parame Brahmani, Kopina Sakta. Nobody is interested in that Parabrahma, that supreme truth, reality, God. So this is a verse from Bhaja Govindam. So this is the way we are living, a mechanical life. We are all in a rat race, running, running, running. Where are you running? I don't know. Everybody is running, so I am also running. In a particular direction they are running, so I am also running. Where are we going? We never ask this question. We are all like lost people, lost in a dream world. So Mandaha Yogakshema Preyaha Vrinite. This is what is. What about the wise person? He is Samparitya, Vivinakti, thoroughly analyzes life. What is life? What does he find when he analyzes life? Oh, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkham. He sees only pain. Birth is pain, death is pain, disease is pain. And there are so many different pains from Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. How to put an end to this pain? Is there a permanent release from all these kinds of pain? Can I free myself? Can I be completely free? This is the way he thinks. Fine, in this birth everything is fine, but after death what will happen to me? Can I take care of my afterlife through this birth, through this life? This is the way the Dhira analyzes. So there's a beautiful story which Puja Gurudev used to say. So I'll narrate that story. So there was this land. This kingdom has a very unique rule. And the rule is anyone can become the king of that land. But they can become king only for 5 years. And once 5 years are over, they will be sent to another island. For that you have to cross one, whatever, big water expanse. And in that island, it is infested with all kinds of wild animals. So this person will be thrown into that forest and he'll be eaten away by those wild. So 5 years you can live as a king. But after that, you will be forcefully sent to that other island, where the animals will make a breakfast out of. Now, so one person came forward. He was a Manda fellow. He thought 5 years I can enjoy as a king. And 5 years he thoroughly enjoyed his life. All pleasures, all power, everything. And that last day came and he was trembling in fear. The gods, they pulled him. He was not willing to go. But the gods dragged him, put him on a boat or something. And then they took him to the other island. And there, wild animals killed him, ate him. Now, next king, who will be the next king? So nobody was coming forward. Then one youngster came. I'll be the next. So again, 5 years, he also ruled beautifully, enjoyed all pleasures. He was very happy. The last day came, and wonder of wonders, this person was absolutely not afraid of going to the other island. So the gods were amazed because they have been doing this for so many years. And they have seen that the last day always everybody trembled with fear. But here was a person who was absolutely fearless. So then he was made to sit on the boat. The guards need not drag him. He himself walked and sat in the boat. And he was cheerful all the way. Guards were wondering, what is this? This man is so happy. Why is he so happy? And then they understood why he was happy. So as the boat neared the other island, they saw a beautiful palace in the place of that forest. Forest was absent. There was a beautiful palace, and his own wife and children are waiting there to receive him. Okay. So what he had done in these 5 years, when he had power, everything, he beautifully made use of his power. What did he do? He went to the other island, cleared all those, you know, infested place, cleared the forest, killed all those animals, and made a beautiful palace. Because he knew after 5 years I will have to go there. So he used his buddhi, futuristic planning. And now what this story means is this. This lifespan is our 5 years. What are you doing here? While you are here, are you investing your time, energy to make your future secure? Or are you like a mandabuddhi, just enjoying, and then finally, there are some children, they don't study properly. And during exam time, they are tensed and worried, etc. And there are other very few minority, they study very well. And during exam time, they are relaxed. It's something like that. So throughout our life, a dhira, what does he do? He analyzes life. He understands that yes, a few more years and this body will not be there. Is there something which I should do in such a way that I can be peaceful now, I can be peaceful here and hereafter? So Dhira is a person who does this. So what does he do? He understands, yes, there is a particular knowledge, the knowledge of the self, gaining which I will be free from all kinds of worries and anxieties. I must know, gain that knowledge. Gaining knowledge which I come to know that I am not the body. The body has to decay and die. But this human birth is a wonderful opportunity for me to gain that knowledge. So that person invests that life intelligently, and thus at the time of death, he cheerfully welcomes death because he knows that actually there is no death. I am the pure consciousness which has no death. So that is what is being said here. So, dhiraha versus mandaha. Path of Shreyas versus path of praise. So more of this topic we will see in the next class. So now I have some questions.
Swamiji, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Amma.
Swamiji, this Mand and Dhira, like when we listen to you, when I'm listening to you, I realize that I have been Mand so many times in my life. So, what is the way out now?
That way out is what is Kathopanishad. The whole of Kathopanishad is that only, no? Way out is hold on to God. Remember God. He is the very self in you. He is the very consciousness in you. Which is the very topic of this Upanishad.
Thank you, Swamiji. Pranam to you.
Right, right.
Rahul, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Ah,
Swamiji, I wanted to ask you that what are the decisions based on intuition? What is intuition then? I mean, in the scheme of things, why people? I mean, people many times go by intuition. What is intuition? They decide
see,
on.
intuition has so many factors involved. Your experience in this field, your knowledge, so many factors are involved. Sometimes it can be mere hallucination also, which people say intuition. Okay. So when you are in a particular profession for a long time, you develop an ability to decide the right thing. For example, the doctors, they know this, they have been in this field diagnosing disease. So a particular ability rises in you because you are in this profession for a long time. So that intellect is trained to intuitively come to a conclusion regarding the disease. But it's all basically experience and all that.
Swamiji, I also had one more question. You had mentioned that the heart is a combination of mind and intellect when they're
Yes.
going in unison. So, why would then one need to direct one to listen to one's heart? It should come automatically.
Now, what is that? What is that?
Why would one need to direct somebody to listen to one's heart? Because if the heart and the mind and intellect is going together, then that
Yes.
should come automatically.
Correct. 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 When the heart says something, you have no problem. But there is a danger of misunderstanding the voice of mind as the voice of heart. You have to be careful. Heart is never a problem. But don't misunderstand the voice of mind as the voice of heart. Then it will be a problem. Yes. And one more thing regarding this question of intuition, sometimes when you're tuned to God, you are inspired to do something in a particular direction. You see, in that prayerful mood, some idea comes. That also is called intuition. Right.
Okay. Who else wants to ask a question? Please raise your hand. Rahul is raised. Nidhi, please go ahead.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranams.
Too many questions today. Or
Oh,
let me say, not just questions, but a overflow of, let's say, thoughts because of this particular topic. I wanted to understand the space of when we say too much thinking, how do we identify the mental, say, diseases which are assailing society today in terms of anxiety, in terms of depression, in terms of all of that? I'm not talking the medical part of it, but I'm talking about overthinking. What, how do we understand it with from this aspect? Overthinking leading to people taking drastic steps in their lives, etc.
hmm.
So, Shreyas, prayers, what is happening inside them?
See, naturally, they are taking the path of prayers, even though there is an option for them to take the path of Shreyas. So, in this situation, what is the path of Shreyas? Whenever you are confused, whenever you are disturbed, turn to your Creator because He is the one who can give you the right solution. There is Bhagavan always with you. So, what we should do whenever mind is disturbed, turn to God. I say, Bhagavan, please guide me. I need your guidance. I'm totally confused regarding this one thing. So therefore now 1 hour I'm going to chant your name. You chant. Now this is something which everyone can do. You just have to have faith that there is a creator who is, protecting you. Just do something like this. I'll do Likhita Japa. If the mind is not listening, okay, I'll do Likhita Japa. Take a notebook, sit down and write. If you don't want to chant a particular name, don't worry. Just write Bhagavan. Write, just talk to God, writing. God, I'm confused. Please guide. I'm confused in this matter. I don't know how to take decision in this matter. You keep on writing as though you're talking to God. You know, you will be amazed, something will happen. With faith, when you just turn to God, something has to happen, right? It is impossible that you turn to God and He turns a deaf ear towards you. It is just impossible. And it is our birthright to turn to God. It is our birthright. Just like a child's birthright is to turn to mother whenever the child is in trouble. The worldly mother may or may not be there all the time with the child, but the divine mother is always there with all of us. So saying that, no, my mother is not there with me, that also, that possibility is ruled out here. So just imagine, we have this option, but we don't exercise this option because we are ruled by the ego. And the ego will only show the path of prayers. Remember, there's the ego in me says that, no, I don't believe in God. I only have to take care of this thing. I will, with my knowledge, I and my. That is path of praise. Now, people are suffering so much because they don't come to satsang. They don't listen to the scriptures. They keep away from all these Mahatmas, saints, etc. Then what else? If you keep away from light, you will have to grow up in darkness. Isn't it? It's no wonder. So this
Can I
is
just
what
give
I.
a context here, Swamiji, in the
Yes.
line of what you're saying? A context to what my question is. We have experienced in our town a suicide, and a suicide by a doctor. And a very well-known doctor, homeopathy doctor, and a very close person to us.
Okay.
The whole town is in a state of shock, disbelief right now. And he has spent his entire life prescribing medicines and attending the Gurudwara.
Correct.
And waking up in the middle of the night, as we heard his prayer service today, waking up in the middle of the night and sitting down for part and praying. What would have happened there?
See, what happens is, sometimes people pray without faith in God. Sometimes they lose faith in God. Something happens and they say, how can God do this to me? But you must always know whatever God does is for your good. That faith has to be there. A little more if he had waited, God himself would have proved him. What he did was right. But we are so possessed that, what I think alone is right, and I don't think God is listening to my prayer. I don't think he knows what is good for me. I don't think he exists. When such kind of dangerous negative thoughts enter into our mind, we commit such stupid acts. The moment you lose faith in God, you have lost everything. So my question is not how much you pray. Prayer with faith is very, very essential. A spiritual person can never commit suicide. Impossible it is. If his person is committing suicide, that means he is not spiritual. Or he is no more spiritual, I can say. So spiritual person can never commit.
So
Yes,
I
yes,
just want to ask Swamiji, like what Nidhi has just said, is it not possible sometimes that people who are going through depression, anxiety, negative thoughts, somehow pray much more than a spiritual person because they feel that God is not listening to them?
Yes.
Because that is what Nidhi said, that, he used to get up in the middle of the night and also pray. So is it possible, I'm just saying, that because he was losing faith in God, he thought he should pray all the time, even get up in the middle of the night and pray, just in case God is not listening to him?
What has happened is, he has stopped praying. Suddenly he lost faith in God and he stopped praying, and then he was bombarded with negative thoughts, and the negative thoughts forced him to commit suicide. Right. Somewhere that turning point must have come. Otherwise, no spiritual person can commit suicide. This I can guarantee you. Because a spiritual person is always connected to God, and there is always a hope that God will save me out of all these troubles. This is a sign of true faith. He must have stopped the prayer, and then he must have thought that now nobody can save me. And then he was convinced. Then he took this drastic step. So we have to be very careful.
Swamiji,
Yes.
isn't there a difference between prayer done with faith and prayer
Yes.
done as a ritual?
Correct. Mechanical prayer is not what we are talking of.
Correct. Yes.
Prayer with faith alone will bring results.
So Nidhi, it is possible that he was a very ritualistic person, going to the Gurdwara, praying at a particular time because that's the way it has to be done. And what Swami is saying, possibly faith was not there. Maybe he was losing faith. He had faith at one point in his life, but then possibly was losing faith and became more and more like a ritual, like people chant. People chant all the time. You don't need to chant all the time. God is always with you. But they feel that, nay, if I chant so many times in a day, then I'm spiritual. And Swamiji, this also happens to many people.
Yes.
Okay. Nidhi, anything else, beta?
Yes, so in addition to that, and how is this kind of, do our scriptures say, how is this kind of an act taken in the beyond, as in the after space?
Which act?
Act of suicide.
An act of suicide.
अगर कोई suicide करता है, तो in the afterlife, what would happen?
Correct. See, what happens is, let us understand one thing. We are coming to this world to evolve. You can't escape from any situation. Just like a child cannot escape from any class. If he's in 5th standard, he has to pass 5th standard and go to 6th standard. He can't jump out of it. So suicide is the most foolish decision, because again the person will come back to the same situation. The lesson will be repeated. Unless you have passed the exam, you will not pass that particular standard. In the same way, unless you have passed that particular situation, you have come out of it, you have transcended it by making right decisions, you will again attract to yourself the same situation. This is what is going to happen in the next birth. So it is an unnecessary delay. And that Preta Yoni also is a miserable situation, because he has died miserably. So that miserable state of mind is always there. So he remains in that miserable state for a long time. Then when the conducive situation comes, again he's taking birth. And in that birth also, in which direction will he go? He will attract the same situation, because he has led a life of escapism in his past life. Escapism will not work. It will again attract the same situation. Again the same tendencies will come, suicidal tendencies. How long will you escape? So the best way is to face the situation by holding on to God. So in the process, what will happen? Number one, you will become strong, your faith will become strong. And number two, you will also would have crossed the situation. You have become evolved. You spiritually evolved. So suicide is the worst decision a person can take.
So, in our sessions also as a past life therapist, we have seen that those people who see themselves committing suicide, after a few seconds actually regret the fact that they committed suicide. And also they tend to understand why they are having the same negative thoughts in the current lifetime.
Yes.
Saying makes sense when we work with our clients, right, Nidhi? So that's because I've not seen a single person in my practice who have who have experienced suicide in the past life saying, "Good, I died." No, they also say, "I regret. I should have waited. Look what is happening to my parents. They are suffering," right? So we understand that through our work also. So Swamiji says the same thing, Okay, Nidhi, thanks, beta.
Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You want to say something? आशा जी, आप पूछिए.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Which I'm asking, it will be a Manda question, but the example which you gave about mind and intellect, animals don't have greed, that's why they don't store. I always thought because they don't, because they don't have greed, that's the reason they are not storing. And humans, they've got a lot of greed, that's why we have that habit of storing for tomorrow. But you gave an example of because they don't have intellect, that's why they're not storing. So I always believed because greed is not there in animals. That's why they're not storing.
See, the intellect, intellect designed to make our life secure in the future. So the greater your intellect, brighter your intellect, the more futuristic thinking you will have. So a wise man, he thinks about not about this birth, but after death what? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So if this is the logic, then if you go back to the low evolved beings, so then you'll have to bring the intellect lesser and lesser, duller and duller. So what is the example of a dullest intellect? Once the pain of hunger is gone, everything is gone, everything is forgotten. So that appeals the logic also. You can't say that animals don't have greed. Then the animals become superior to human beings then. That cannot be logically accepted.
True.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Let me see if anybody else has raised their hand. Yeah, I think everybody's okay now. So thank you, Swamiji. Should we end with a shloka?
Okay, Amma. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om